Hi everyone, Greeno here and welcome to another video here on Greeno Eats. Now as you can see, I am at a branch of IKEA. I've come to the IKEA in Southampton. Now Mrs Greeno wants to buy a few little bits and bobs for the house, but I'm only really interested in what we can get in the restaurant, of course. So let's go and take a little look at what is available. I know for a lot of people, IKEA is kind of a little day out really. But for me, I think, well, if Dante was alive, he might be writing this into one of his circles of hell. I hate IKEA. Not a great start because all the trays are absolutely filthy. Could do with cleaning them before you put them back out, folks. Hey buddy, can I take one meatballs please? 12, please. Yes, please.
Really?
Yes, of course. Mash with that, please. Thank you. Can I get fish and chips, please, with mushy peas?
Tartar sauce?
Yes, please. And one of the salmon, please.
Couscous?
With couscous, yeah, please. Oh, and some onion rings, please. 6 onion rings. So Little'un has ordered the fish and chips with mushy peas. Not very happy that I ordered tartar sauce on the side of it. And is having a little bit of a paddy about it, but there we are. Are you going to try the fish, see if it's any good? The batter looks a bit strange, doesn't it? Have a little go. See what you think. That's quite a big mouthful. Oh, or not. It's good, is it? And just some bog standard little fries there. And some mushy peas underneath. Now their fish and chips is £6.95, which isn't too bad. Well, like I say, it looks a little bit strange. I'll try that fish in a second. I'll try a little bit of my drink. I've got a still lingonberry. I think lingonberries are the things they use in the sauce for the meatballs. It's quite refreshing actually, quite nice. Right, so like I say, I've got this this little starter, this salmon like gravlax. Comes with a little wedge of lemon. Squirt of that over there, and what looks like a dill sauce of some kind. Maybe we'll try and get some of that out on the plate. Might be easier to eat it that way than in this little tub. So now I really like smoked salmon. So this should be right up my street. Being gravlax, it's covered in a kind of little herby thing. Don't know if you can catch that on the camera or not. But basically it's cured with herbs on it and there's a little sauce to go with it. Oh yeah. That's really tasty. Just comes on its own, no bread or anything along with it, just a little bit of this salmon. But as a way to start the meal, it's really tasty. This sauce, that's really nice, that little herby thing. The salmon itself is nice and soft, not overly smoked, just cured. That's yummy. Okay, I've pinched a little bit of Little'un's fish. Here we go. Let's say the batter looks a little bit odd. It's obviously baked in batter. It's quite dry. I don't think that's good at all. Tastes like very, very cheap fish. The batter is almost chewy. Little'un seems to be enjoying it, but I really don't think that's good. Right guys, keeping up the fishy theme, Mrs Greeno has ordered this salmon thing and I'm just going to have a little try of that. So we've got the tartar sauce here with it again, which is possibly a little unusual with salmon. And then it comes with this couscous, which is filled with different kind of vegetables and beans, and I think that's raisins actually in there, which I don't know how that's going to go down. Probably not very well with Mrs Greeno, but let's give that a little try. The couscous is nice and soft, as are the veggies, but with the little bits of beans and peas and stuff in there. It's got a little bit of texture. And could possibly do with a little bit more seasoning, but it's tasty enough. Now, hidden under here is a little bit of salmon. Again, clearly baked salmon. And I'm going to try that with this tartar sauce. Never had tartar sauce on salmon before. It's a first. We'll give it a go. It's a little unusual. The salmon, for me, is overcooked. Mrs Greeno will like it like this. I like my salmon still kind of pink in the middle. This is fully cooked through. But like I say, that will suit Mrs Greeno. Just I prefer it cooked less. I think there's a combination. The salmon and the couscous is nice. I say, I think the tartar sauce is very sharp with all the capers and gherkins and stuff in there. For me, it doesn't really quite match with everything. Might improve that fish, might moisten it up a little bit, but yeah, for me it doesn't quite work on this meal. Okay, a little bit more of this, just to cleanse the palate a little bit from that salmon and tartar sauce. We're on to the main event here. This is what we come to IKEA for, isn't it? We have the meatballs, the mash, and the lingonberry jam, all smothered in gravy. There we go. That's what it's all about. So, we've got a portion of 12 meatballs here. This comes in at £5.95. You can get a smaller portion with 8 meatballs for £4.95. So it's only £1 more to get 4 more meatballs. And I think that's worth it. I'm sure Mrs Greeno and Little'un are probably going to tuck into this too. So, we've got the meatball here with the gravy and a little bit of this lingonberry jam. It does seem a bit odd when you think about having jam and gravy, but then Christmas lunch we have cranberry sauce with turkey, don't we? So that's good. That is, in my opinion, by some margin, the best of the 3 dishes. Let's try this mash. The mash, it tastes like powdered instant mash, to be honest with you. That's not great. Although when you add the gravy to it, that certainly improves it a little bit. But the meatballs with the gravy and with a little bit of sweetness from that jam. That is really tasty. I mean, this is all the thing that most people will come and try when they're in IKEA, I guess. They're best known for their meatballs rather than their fish and chips. And having tasted the fish, with good reason. That's good though. Well, Little'un is certainly enjoying her fish and chips. Like I say, I didn't think it was that great, but you're fairly impressed with it, aren't you, kiddo? Mrs Greeno being brave and trying the smoked salmon She's not normally a huge fan of smoked salmon, but with that sauce, it's good, isn't it? Have to find out what that sauce is. Maybe they sell it in the shop downstairs. It's a nice herby kind of thing, almost sort of savoury as well. It has dill in it. You can see the dill in there. Good, isn't it? I almost forgot, Mrs Greeno ordered a little side of some onion rings to go with everything. Mrs Greeno always orders onion rings. So we had to wait a little bit for these to be cooked. They were still cooking when we placed our order, and they were being cooked in the oven rather than deep fried. So they're not overly greasy, although they're obviously just bought in like this. They're kind of from a frozen bag or whatever. It does taste like it is a whole piece of onion inside rather than just minced onion. They're okay, they're a little bit soggy. Maybe could have been baked a little longer. But the flavour's okay. Go back to these meatballs now because they are my favourite. One thing that I thought was interesting, Mrs Greeno just pointed out, that everything's kind of artificial tasting. So the fish is obviously just a frozen in batter kind of thing that's baked. Chips and mushy peas just obviously come in already done. The salmon I think is just baked in the oven. The mashed potato isn't made out of real potatoes. The gravy is clearly just a packet mix because that's just how they do it consistently. But even the salmon and couscous dish that Mrs Greeno is eating, I think the couscous probably comes in already made and they just heat it up. Now, it's not been a very expensive lunch. We've had the Gravlax starter, which is probably about the best thing on here, to be honest. 3 main meals. We've got 2 little sweet things, which I'll bring you in a minute. The onion rings as a side. And 2 drinks, 2 little soft drinks for me and Little'un. And it's come to less than 30 quid in total, only just less, mind. £29.65. So less than a tenner each, which isn't bad. But the quality in what we've had really isn't that great. Like I say, the fish and chips, it's almost kind of like a Tesco ready meal that you'd buy. Maybe not even as good as a Tesco ready meal. The salmon dish is okay, but again, just kind of seems like a ready meal. The meatballs, well, of course, we all know that they're just bought in as a frozen item because you can buy them from the shop. So, you know, there's no real cooking going on in any of this. It's just reheating stuff. So, very much got a school canteen kind of vibe to the place and a school canteen vibe to the food itself, to be honest. But fortunately for me, I'm the one who got the meatballs. Now, even though she keeps playing up, this is how much I love Little'un, I am giving her my last meatball. She's looking longingly at the meatball. Will you accept this meatball? Down in 1. Good Lord. Okay, we have a sweet item here. Mrs Greeno is going to try. She picked up a cinnamon bun. Just like a swirl kind of thing going on there. Now, regular viewers of the channel will know my opinions on mushrooms. Not a fan at all. Cinnamon is even worse. It tastes like some kind of horrible medieval medicine to me. Cannot stand it. Mrs Greeno, on the other hand, is a fan of cinnamon. So what do we think of the cinnamon bun? Is it sticky? Is it fresh? Is it good in any way? Not too sweet.
A bit dry. It's okay.
It's okay.
I'm hungry after the salmon.
Yeah, the salmon and couscous was not enough to fill up Mrs Greeno. And I don't think that the cinnamon bun's going to do it either, to be honest. So it's a little bit dry. You know, it only cost 65p, I think. And look, she's already trying to give it away. There we go. Little'un's going to have a try. Tell me what you think about it. Well, given her opinion on the fish, I'm not sure I'm ready to take her opinion. She says it's good. I think anything's good. Dime bar cake. Now this is, again, the sort of quintessential IKEA dessert, isn't it? Meatballs for the main, dime bar cake for the dessert. So, as you can see, there's little layers of, I don't know if it's cakey or biscuit kind of stuff, with a nice sort of chocolatey, caramelly kind of topping on there. So, let's get a little spoonful of that and give it a try. That's all right. It's quite soft, but it's not sponge cake. I don't know how I would describe it really. Almost like the bottom of a cheesecake consistency. But the topping is where the flavour is. And you've got those little bits of dime bar. And give a little bit of crisp and crunch. I quite like dime bar. So this is good for me. Not bad at all. We have a cinnamon bun update. Apparently the middle part of it is kind of undercooked. It's doughy. So the outside was dry and the inside is undercooked. Little'un has changed her mind and saying it's good. Mrs Greeno still ate it, so it can't be that bad. But I think, well, that goes for everything we've had really. We've been relatively critical about everything, but it's pretty much all been eaten. I left a little bit of the mash, that was just a bit unpleasant. Everything else has gone down, just hasn't really been enjoyable. We're just hungry, so we ate it. But yeah, not sure it's something I'd rush back to do again. Like I say, it's not been an expensive lunch. You can see here the receipt. The salmon fillet was $7.25, fish and chips $6.95, the Swedish meatballs $5.95, then plus a few of the extras there. The cured salmon $3.50, dime cake $2.25, cinnamon bun 65p, and the onion rings 60p. A couple of drinks are only $1.25 each, so not expensive. However, do I think I got value for money? Probably not. It's a shame really, I was looking forward to coming here. I really, really wanted to have some of those meatballs, and to be fair, they were the bit I enjoyed the most. Really wanted to come and have the dime bar cake. Again, not bad. Everything else I thought was really disappointing. Like I say, we have eaten it all, simply because we've got to go around the shop and we're hungry and we needed feeding, so it has all gone, but yeah, like I said before, not in a hurry to come back. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this little look at the canteen, I'm going to call it, rather than restaurant, at IKEA in Southampton, why not click a thumbs up on there for me? It does help with the channel. And if you're new around here and you like what you've seen, why not consider clicking the subscribe button, ding your little bell for notifications, and that way you won't miss anything that comes up on the channel. Right, we've now got to wander around the shop and find whatever absolute nonsense I've got to build tomorrow. God help me. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.